Welcome back to the channel. Let's talk about the Sony A9III that's rumored to be released very soon. This high-end photography camera serves a purpose for action photographers and wildlife photographers, but Sony has a lot of ground to make up in terms of regaining trust from its users, specifically in firmware updates and the A1. At the end of this video, we're going to be talking about if I'm going to be buying this camera. If you care, skip ahead. If not, let's move on. As mentioned, Sony has been really bad with their firmware updates, and a lot of users are not willing to buy the latest and greatest flagship photography cameras anymore because the firmware updates. So two things that A1 users want is focus stacking, number one, and number two, they're wanting a pre-capture mode, which we'll talk about a little bit later in this video. Right now, give it a like because we're about to dive in to all of the rumors. So I'm pretty darn sure the A9III is gonna have focus stacking for sure, and I'm not sure about pre-capture, but we'll have to wait and see. So what are the most likely rumors that we know right now from Sony Alpha Rumors? Number one, it's coming out on November 7th, and it will have a brand new sensor that we haven't seen before, a fully stacked sensor, and that'll be 33 megapixels. It will shoot at 40 frames per second and 30 frames per second respectively if you're wanting 14-bit or 12-bit color. It's not going to shoot 8K video, and that is a good thing. Why? Number one, I don't necessarily think we're at 8K anyways in terms of the necessity. Number two, it's great for photographers because it allows for a higher megapixel count, and you can crop into your image in post, giving you more flexibility for photography. The next rumor that we know is it's going to be a similar body to the A1, pretty much the same. However, it'd be really cool if it had a flippy screen. I know photographers don't always need this, but that flexibility is nice, and I love having a flippy screen. As mentioned before, that buffer performance is going to be really interesting if we're talking about 40 frames per second or 30 frames per second in photography, so we'll have to wait and see on that. But a pre-capture mode would be game-changing for Sony. Pre-capture mode, so essentially this would fix any buffering issues within the camera in terms of capturing, and you could half hold, like the Nikon Z9 has this, but you could half hold and wait for, say, a bird on a branch, right? And then that bird flies off. As it's taking off, you can then full press the shutter, and for a second before that bird actually took off, it was already recording data. Will I buy it? Well, if you follow the channel, you know that I'm a hybrid shooter, but I have the tendency to shoot video. So this isn't a camera for me. It's expensive to be a photography shooter. If you want high frame rates and the best autofocus in these cameras, so if you like birding, if you like shooting wildlife, if you like shooting action sports, F1, any kind of action sport, it's expensive. And these cameras, I think the A9II right now is $6,000 in Canada. Can't imagine what the A9III is going to be, but no, it's not for me. The last thing that I'll say is if I was going to spend $6,000 or $7,000 on a camera body, I would want Sony to prove that they're going to update their flagship or higher end cameras before I make that purchase. Bye for now. Matty out. Peace.